Welcome to Bogside Chats, where we're talking everything DFK, keeping it casual, the first non-whale podcast. My name is Matty Pesk. I am joined by Guy Kid and Franz. Boys, how we doing?
Doing great. Exciting day in the kingdom.
Stole my line. Big day in the kingdom. This
It
all
is
these announcements, all these events. Maddie, where do we even start? Bring me in.
a big day. It is a big day. We got two major announcements that have a lot to discuss within each one. To start off, the team has been partnered with Wisdom Gaming, who's going to help their PvP combat system, and we got a lot of thoughts on that. But also, a probably bigger announcement was that the Serendale entire world is moving from the Harmony chain to a new chain called Clayton. It is a network out of South Korea that we've done some research on, and we're going to talk about a little bit. Let's start it off with the Wisdom Gaming announcement. So they hinted at this like 2 weeks ago that they're working with an outside game development studio to help them develop their PvP. So they announced it officially, technically the day before. Today is Thursday, the 18th, where they had an AMA. I think officially it was announced on the 17th, but they talked a lot about it in today's AMA. And very interestingly, Wisdom Gaming is technically a esports, game casting, event hosting company that kind of promotes tournaments and promotes certain, esports and stuff like that. And with the announcement came that they're starting a new branch that is going to be a development company. They're going to call it Wisdom Labs. And this development company is going to help develop the PvP for DeFi Kingdoms. And also, they also made with the announcement that this new Wisdom Labs is going to work on some Web3 stuff. And, it was pretty big. And I am rambling a little bit. So any of you guys jump in at any point here.
Yeah, no, keep going. You're covering everything well.
I've talked a lot about, I've looked at a lot of Wisdom Labs stuff, so I have a lot to say about them.
Yeah. No,
it's interesting that they're a content creation and tournament hosting company. It looks like they sponsor a couple esports teams. So it's interesting to see this is where DeFi Studios has partnered, or Kingdom Studios has partnered and created a partnership with for the growth of the PvP space. Seeing where Wisdom Gaming's kind of started in the gaming umbrella.
Yeah, we were a little off with our guesses of like Blizzard, Activision last week.
I didn't think those were legitimate, but okay.
No, I'm kidding. But no, it's great. It seems like you said, they're kind of just getting into the game development side of things, but I'm really excited by the other stuff that they did, the PvP or the esports side of it, and the idea that they're going to be kind of building this PvP for esports. Like that's the driving factor in gaming, is how marketable it is.
I think, and there's a lot to talk about that. We talk about that a little bit later in terms of how much is Wisdom Gaming going to be involved versus this new this little branch called gaming, or what do they call it? Wisdom Labs is like the little development wing that they've formed. So I'm curious
what do you mean by that? Like how much it'll be involved? I mean,
yeah. Well, my question is, so the Wisdom Gaming traditional group, does the esports and the casting, and they like host tournaments, and they own a venue in Minnesota where they host esports events.
Mm-hmm.
How much is that core team going to be involved, if at all?
Is the entire company pivoting over to Wisdom Labs, or is there a subset?
Well, no. I mean, I know it's a smaller subsection of the company, but in terms of
wait, I don't think I follow like what you're kind of saying. Like it's a company that's starting this new partnership and starting this new branch. Why wouldn't they have the backing and support of the entire company?
Well, we don't know the structure, the internal structure of their company.
I'm not saying that the esports wing is going to come in and work on some Archer moves and kind of, I'm not saying they're going to do that, but like they're going to be working together. They're going to be trying to make this project a success, which, I think is obviously great for DFK, and the idea that it's going to be their only job is the combat system. That's
And
amazing.
it's this is my first time reading like the full press article, and it's so funny reading the About Wisdom Labs team. Like they're a bunch of gaming maxis. Like they're a team of fully doxed yield maxis working at the intersection of marketing and development. So like these are gamers through and through, which is cool. And they did mention in the AMA announcement too that the Wisdom Gaming team that's been looking to partner with DFK, they've all been playing DFK for a while now too, so they've been part of the ecosystem from just a traditional gamer perspective, which is great.
That's what I want to know. Who's been playing? What are their usernames? Are they active on Twitter?
Have I got the heroes? Have I
Do,
done
yeah.
duels?
Do they put their Gen Zeros up for rent a lot? Like, have I tried messaging them to get something?
Yeah, I mean, I think it, and it's very interesting, and I think also is very interesting, and I know, Guy, you had it up earlier, is the sort of the committee that they're forming, because one of the fears here obviously is we don't want this outside group coming in and like taking complete control of it. So Bolin really broke it down on Twitter, and he said that there's going to be what do they call it? Just a committee? Like they have
5 seats. Yep.
But they didn't say like it's the gaming committee, or they didn't call it something. They just said a committee.
Maybe we'll have a maybe DFK should do a contest to name the committee.
Okay, great. Yeah, so they got a committee where three of the seats are DFK devs and two of the seats are going to be Wisdom devs, and that is they're going to be pushing for all the PvP decisions. As far as I understand it, I mean, I don't know.
And then the interesting thing is they talk about funding, so it's like things are tight. That's no secret. Wisdom, as longtime players and believers in DFK, we're very willing to get creative. So I think a lot of the pay is in a jewel or some kind of locked jewel format, which is great for the long-term ecosystem of the game because it creates a collaboration that everyone's motivated to do the same thing, which is creating a successful game that the value of jewels will go up long term.
Yeah. No, they mentioned that in the AMA today. A concerned citizen asked about whether the jewel was unlocked or had any kind of time lock on it.
A concerned
fear or
citizen.
something.
France,
Yes.
how many of your rapid R questions get asked today? I feel like you and Frisky were just having a direct one-to-one conversation during the AMA.
I've thrown that option out there to the old Frisk man. Not gotten a response yet, but no, 3 today. 2 of them were stupid little it was Stone Carver and an in-game address book, which I really want. Me personally,
Would be
but no,
awesome.
and then this about the locked jewel, and they actually went into it. The initial reaction, they all kind of tensed up, like, how much do we want to say here?
Right.
But Frisky did say that a lot of it is locked for a certain amount of time, and we're talking not like months, but years. And then when it is unlocked, it's not unlocking all at once. We have to see the actual what he said, but I think he said it would be unlocking over years after that. So this wasn't. I don't think Wisdom's here trying to make a quick buck. I think they're in it for the long haul, and I think that's very promising.
Well, so this goes back to what we were saying earlier, and my question of Wisdom Labs versus Wisdom Gaming. The way this arrangement appears to be is that the Wisdom Labs guys are really just like, this is a passion project. This is going to launch them. Sort of, if they are successful, this will put their group on the map. That being said, I don't think there's a substantial pay for the Wisdom Labs people, and if there's no money, why would Wisdom Gaming use any of their resources to promote it? I mean, that's what I was sort of thinking in terms of like, yes, I understand what you're saying. They want it to do well, but the Wisdom Gaming people are working on Rocket League. They're working on,
the interesting thing about what's happened in the last 2-3 years is we've been part of a global pandemic, and a lot of gaming studios and a lot of companies, not even just in the gaming arena, have had to pivot.
True.
So, and I think Wisdom sees this as a great opportunity for them to pivot and grow their company into an entirely new space that offers them a ton of growth opportunity.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking at from a Wisdom Gaming from a business perspective, I'm sure the company as a whole has some level of incentive. Or, I mean, we're looking at the subset of Wisdom Labs. There's a couple familiar faces on Wisdom Labs as well as Wisdom Gaming.
Yeah.
So I think the incentives are aligned there.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I
mean,
feel like you're kind of pulling that out of thin air that they wouldn't be aligned and working together and want mutual success.
not that they
That's
wouldn't
not
want
how
mutual success,
businesses
but like
work.
they're not going to use their resources at all. Is what I'm saying.
Why is everyone drinking in their picture?
I know it is kind of weird.
No,
I mean,
but
because I
I'm
hope they do,
excited.
because I think it seems that Wisdom Gaming, from the esports perspective, they seem to be on top of it. They seem to be like pros at that, which would be awesome if they got involved at all with DFK.
Well, they need something to get involved with, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
They need a PvP product. I don't think that they're going to be sponsoring a Fight Club tournament, although we should do another one of those soon. But like it needs to be a marketable product, and if that's what they're aiming to build, something that's very focused on
That's a good point. Yeah.
esports, that's great. I mean, the
And
thing that
you can see the cohesion within their company if Wisdom Labs takes off, how that's
sure.
gonna grow Wisdom Gaming as
The
well.
thing that I'm curious about, and I want to kind of see what you guys think about this. I feel like, and maybe I need to go back and look at that the way it was actually said in the article. Are they working on just the PvP, or are they working on the combat system as a whole? And I guess maybe that's just a bad, poorly phrased question. But the combat system is going to play into the PvE side of it as well. You have to imagine. Like, how different can it be, right?
Right.
There has to be cohesion there.
I would think that those are kind of one and the same,
Right.
in terms of attack is 20% strength and 30% dex, and then 50% random. Like whatever. I mean, obviously that was just like a random thing, but I imagine the PvP attack would be the same as the PvE attack. In that sense of the
Well, so
combat.
I think what I'm getting at more is timeline wise, right? Like,
Yeah.
if it's got the same game flow or flow within a match, it's gonna
Mhm.
kind of be needed to be figured out for battling,
Yeah.
giant spiders and trolls
Not gonna
and
be a
shit like
different.
that.
It's not gonna be a completely different game.
Right.
PvE versus PvP. I 100% agree. So combat's gonna be combat, but are they gonna help with the world building and everything else as far as the larger economics and kind of grandiose strategy of DFK as a holistic game and not just a combat system?
hmm Yeah, and that's where I think they probably won't be as involved, and I'm hoping that.
And maybe that just gives this onboarding of a partner like this gives Hubert the ability to concentrate
Right.
on a subset of just something like that.
Yeah, and just I'm sure it's just psychologically such a weight off his shoulders, not having like knowing that
Oh
he
yeah.
now has these resources. I mean, they mentioned today I believe the amount of devs within DFK that were working on PvP went down from 8 before the Harmony hack to, I think he said, like 2 when
I
they
mean,
had to
I got the
cut a lot of
impression that it
staff.
wasn't being touched at all, but
Yeah, I mean, they're never going to say that if that's the
yeah.
case, but I mean, we mentioned that on a past podcast. Like,
Yeah.
it's just nice knowing that there's always someone dedicated to it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to put a more concrete roadmap together. They had teased like Dreamer didn't want to commit to an absolute timing, but Wisdom Labs is motivated to get some kind of teaser, some kind of publicity out there very quickly. So we might see some kind of demo or format of combat in the next month, which would be awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's where the other side of the business, the marketing, the esports side, kind of plays in. They're going to want to
Yep,
get demos out
Totally.
there. They're going to want to generate hype, but
Yeah.
hopefully they have enough experience with that marketing side of it that they're not going to do it
Oh,
haphazardly. Like one of the issues that I've had with DFK is that they're great when Frisky and Dreamer are up on a stage at the AVAX summit, but none of that was even close. So it was like, why are you building us up just to let us slowly break down over the next 6 months?
well, I do think that's interesting. And I did want to just mention this because I think it's interesting. I was kind of creeping on the all the executives that they list on their website, and the president right now of Wisdom Gaming is Steve LaCroix is the guy's name, and he's a former NFL Vikings C-suite I forget what his title was. I think it was chief marketing engineer for the
Quarterback coach?
the Vikings. Yeah, no, he was on the field actually. No, so he's done events for this huge, the Minnesota Vikings is a massive corporation and a lot of money flowing through there in the NFL. So
Gave
these
Kirk
guys,
Cousins quite the contract. So
they
agreed.
they know what they're doing and they have experience in that in that field and coming from that perspective of delivering on their kind of promotional and marketing stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, no, it's all good stuff, and I think this is the most fun episode we've gotten to do in a while because it's all bullish, right? Until we have a reason to think otherwise. There were definitely people kind of picking apart the announcement. Was it a big enough game studio, or does this mean that they weren't working on PvP
Yeah.
the past? What
You
happened to the
mean
last
us?
prototype?
You mean us in our last podcast episode?
Yeah, a little bit, or probably over the past few. But
Yeah.
no, but like it's easy to pick it apart until we get more details. I don't see any reason to kind of be negative today. It's great.
I agree.
No, it seems awesome. I think like I was saying, like all the goals are aligned. I mean, I think Wisdom Gaming wants it to work out. DFK wants it to work out. We want it to work out as the people. So everybody's pumped up.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, I think that's all we got on Wisdom Gaming. So the AMA today, they answered a couple questions about Wisdom, but then they teased that there's going to be a big announcement. And then as soon as halfway, through, everyone's like, all right, give us the announcement. And today, Dreamer announced, they're going to give more details now, but they announced just sort of the name. Clayton is the name of the new network that Serendale 2.0 is going to be hosted on. Clayton is this is from their website directly. Clayton is an open source public blockchain for all who wish to build, work, or play in the metaverse.
The metaverse.
I mean, that's their promotional line, obviously.
Honestly, you feel like this. I challenge that this light paper was written in January of 2022 because it's like Frisky wrote it himself.
Yeah, so they are based out of South Korea. Although I also have some stuff that says they're in Singapore, so I'll need to follow up on that. They launched their mainnet, which is called Cypress, in June of 2019. And I have a quick breakdown.
That's been around for a while.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of thought it was a little newer. I would have guessed.
Well, it is. I mean, that is new-ish.
Yeah, I mean, when did it really start getting ramped
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a EVM. This is a promotional. Again, these are all the promotional materials, so I don't know the actual technical analysis, but it says the gas price is 1/10 of Ethereum, 4,000 transactions per second. Which
one tenth of Ethereum in a bull market or a bear market.
Again, I don't know. Yeah,
a little different there.
1 second block generation and confirmation time, and then they got a whole bunch of gaming and NFT people that are sort of already signed up on there. They list their partners on their website.
Any that we know or have heard of?
I didn't really recognize any. I mean, obviously they're listed on Binance. They're listed on KuCoin, Hubai Global, which I'm pronouncing terribly. So they're on some of the centralized exchanges that we know of. But some of the games, I've never heard of the games that are on it. I've never really heard of many or any of the companies that are not companies, but like the dApps that are listed. So I mean, but I'm sure I'm sure they're doing very well. I mean, I don't know. I've just never heard of them personally. And then finally, my other little note was that their token, which is klay, KLAY, is around number 60 on CoinMarketCap. So it's, I mean, they have it, and I think it was 8 was their market cap.
How much?
Don't quote me on that. I think it was, yeah, Guy, you can pull it up.
800 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 812.
And I was looking at it. I mean, it peaked at like 5 billion, so it got hit hard.
Oh, really? Damn.
During the crash, but so it was up there and definitely had some volume over the course
all
of the year.
These charts look the same. though.
Yeah, exactly. But it's
They're
interesting
all
to see
rookie.
where the higher market cap was, and that
Mhm.
just. I mean, it's a top 100 crypto coin at the end. Of
Oh
the
yeah,
day.
for
So
sure.
that's no small feat right there.
Where was Harmony in its heyday?
Oh, I don't know.
I had
Wasn't
that
it
up.
like
It was top 100,
25?
wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
It might have
No, it
even
was
been like top
top
25.
25.
it's 107 right now.
Oh wow.
Right.
So
Look at how bad it's been hit.
yeah.
Oh yeah. It's a self-inflicted pain, but whatever. Um,
Well, and I can't imagine it's going to get much better after this announcement.
no, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all heard the stats a million times about just how much of
Yeah.
Harmony's transactions are DFK. What do you? Actually, I won't ask that. If you guys have more Clayton stuff, I was gonna
No,
go
I mean
into
that's pretty much it
timeline.
for the quick breakdown of like what it is. I think if and Guy was showing it on the screen here. If you have time, I would highly recommend checking out their light paper. It's like 20-ish pages with a lot of graphics. It's easy read. It's mainly marketing material, but it
A lot of
really
pictures.
it breaks it down how their system works, and it's not. I mean,
We do not try to pretend to be a
yeah,
technical deep diving podcast. This was the perfect read for us.
yeah, exactly. I understood everything on it, and I don't understand everything about blockchain.
Do you know what a DAO is?
I do know what a DAO is.
How
Yeah.
about TPS?
No.
TPS reports from Office Space. Is that where that's from?
No. Yeah. The light paper, I'm sure, makes it sound like the next Ethereum. All the light papers and white papers do.
Exactly. Yeah.
I always think it's funny when a team has a light paper rather than a white paper. It's like,
Well, they also have a white paper.
I'm
you
sure
can
they
read,
do.
but yeah.
But no, it's good. What I was gonna bring up is like timeline wise is the first thing that came into my head, and we should probably mention we're talking about all this. It wasn't just that Dreamer kind of dropped this announcement and said, "All right, see you in a few months." Well, there is going to be a roundtable discussion on Monday, which is DFK's birthday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I should
1
have
year
mentioned that.
anniversary.
Yeah.
So hope that goes well, because otherwise that's going to be a shitty birthday party. If the roundtable just bombs. No, but I'm sure we'll get a lot more information there. Like, Guy, you were saying before about the grant pool that
Great.
Klaber has.
Yeah, they have
Is it
Clayton.
Klaber?
Clayton.
Clayton. Sorry,
Clayton.
it's going to happen a few times. So
Yeah.
Like Michael Clayton, right?
Yep. Exactly.
yeah, there we
Yeah.
go.
So,
Everyone knows that movie.
yeah, so they are kind of like who
Wait,
they are and how
yeah,
they
go
got
back to
here.
that
I
one.
wanted to go to this.
Oh, all right.
They started as this company called KCow, and they were a software company that I think they said they got up to like 60 billion dollar business. And they basically took the growth attitude of that company and applied it to blockchain. And from the growth of their company that they've created over the years, they've got $1 billion geared up, ready to go to support the growth of this blockchain, which is awesome.
So $1 billion
Some
grant fund is what you're saying.
That's the way it sounds. And I
That's
don't
great.
know if some of it's built into the cost of the coin too, because what's really interesting is the tokenomics of this thing are pretty wild in the sense of there will be 10.7 billion in total supply, but it's a very, very small emission rate from that sense. I guess I can't call it small because it is 300 million clay being circulated annually.
Yeah.
But if you
That's
tabulate that
small.
out, it's going to take 25 years for this token to be fully emitted and be in total circulation. And 66% of their emissions goes towards the development of the ecosystem. This is probably where a lot of the grant money goes. And if they partner with companies, they're going to say, yeah, you're going to get so much clay token, but it's going to take you 2 years or whatever for that to be fully vested. And they've probably got milestones and roadblocks or milestones that from a development and a gaming company that they're going to have to hit to see the growth of the coin, which is the growth of the blockchain, which is the growth of the overall ecosystem. So I really like kind of like how they've built out the tokenomics and the growth aspect of this all.
Well, and I have to imagine, just based on the promotional material, they say metaverse is like in their opening tagline. And so I feel like a project like DFK fits squarely exactly in what they're looking for, right?
But wait, how many metaverses are there right
No,
now?
no, I understand that. But what I'm
Everyone's
saying is like I think
but everyone's trying to do it. It's how will it actually get done, and how realistic is it? Is it just a buzzword to kind of get people over to the chain, right?
I understand that completely. But what I'm just saying is that I feel like they will be more willing to give part of their grant money to DFK once, you know what I mean? Especially Harmony, it felt like it was a little bit more of a
Sure.
struggle.
But do you think that's because Frisky likes the metaverse, or do you think it's because we're bringing over a shitload of
I
transactions?
mean, both. Why not both? You know, I mean,
You even
uh,
heard Dreamer make the joke today. He's like, please keep questing because it helps Kingdom Studios from
oh,
a
of course,
valuation
Oh, I
yeah.
bet.
perspective.
Well, active users, yeah.
Well, that's why they haven't taken a hard stance on the bots
Yeah, exactly.
for a lot of transactions.
Yeah. I did. Well, I think that's a great segue because I did. So we don't know for sure. Obviously, we're going to find out more on Monday about hopefully, about more about the technical side of this. One thing that's been talked about since this announcement is this going to be on the Clayton mainnet or is it going to be on a layer 2? Because they do have layer 2 solutions. They have some options. I don't. I think they just call them layer 2. I don't think they have like a cool name for them, like some of the other ones do. But my question is, if it's not on a layer 2, it's on the mainnet, can they handle the transactions from DFK? Because this gets talked about a lot, obviously with DFK Chain and Avalanche, but these guys can be able to handle the transactions.
Well, so before we get into that, it's do they have running? And you might not know this. This just dropped today, whatever. But do we think they have running subnets today, or is it
I
in
don't.
a light paper? You know.
Well, I don't know for sure, but I believe they do just based on a couple of the things they said. Yeah, this is the one, the layer 2 here. They said that they have separate games that have
Okay.
separate. Well, they called them a side
Okay.
chain.
So yeah, it
I
says
don't know.
Boris
Yeah.
successfully migrated to Clayton sidechain. Okay.
So I do think they have currently they have games working, like blockchain games that are working on layer 2 side chain, whatever you want to call it. We don't know exactly the plan for DFK yet, but I am curious on. I mean, we could look at the transaction, right? I mean, we could just look at the transaction numbers that DFK has, and then look at what their promotional stuff says about their transactions per minute, and we can kind of figure it out, right? And isn't, I mean, unless I'm missing something in how that works.
Yeah, math. How good are you at math?
Yeah, guy's the math guy. I'm just gonna
yeah, do the
hang out
math on
here.
that for us,
Maybe
guy.
I'll throw in a quip or two. Who knows? But
Yeah, Clayton's talking about they can do 12,000 transactions a second,
that
which
seems
my
like a lot.
immediate reaction was, it doesn't seem like a lot relative to DFK traffic.
Yeah,
Like I feel like DFK has a ton of transactions, and if you've got
I have
290,
yeah.
you got 290,000 heroes out there that are questing every single day, like what's that look like, as well as kind of future growth. And by the way, that's just one game or one project on your network. So like, hey, 12,000 transactions per second, like seems like a cool number. It's like, is it? When I was looking at the stats of the DFK subnet, it looks like the subnet does 29 transactions a second. So if that's the case, it actually doesn't sound that bad.
They can handle it fine.
Yeah. So it seems like the scale might be there, but I mean,
but don't we want it on the mainnet? Isn't that kind of go back to where we all went wrong with Crystal Vale?
Well, hold on.
What's your thoughts there? Is
you mean personal making money?
Well, all right, that's one of the things that went horrendously. But
chain went smoothly.
If we're talking about like the friends we made along the way, that went great. No, but what the whole thought process in the weeks leading up to Crystal Vale was, the influx of AVAX users. They're gonna be sitting around on Trader Joe and be like, what? DeFi Kingdoms? Let me get over there. And we're gonna get all of the AVAX users. It didn't happen because of the subnet. As cool and as great as the subnet is, for all the other reasons.
Yeah.
We didn't get that influx, so I want that.
Yeah, you want the new users from being on the chain.
Wait, and so your hypothesis is if it's on the mainnet, it's a higher likelihood that everyday people who are not in DFK will jump on because it's on the mainnet.
That's what I'm hypothesizing. Yes.
I mean, maybe, but also at the same time, like I don't know.
You don't care?
I don't. I feel like if you're seeking out, like if you're seeking out DFK, you're gonna find it and you're gonna go on it. I don't think the chain that it's on has that big of an effect. You know.
But okay, and I do agree with you when you say that, but also these aren't as big of names, but Knights and Peasants,
Sure.
Evo versus, if they were on a separate chain,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what a subnet is, right?
Yeah.
In as far as usability,
Yeah.
would you have gone and thrown some
No.
money over there?
No. I mean, I haven't, but also I understand what the question's asking, and no.
Mhm.
I mean, I will. The better example is Holy Grail.
Oh, jeez.
There's a name
That's
I
where a
haven't heard in a
subnet could have
while
helped
that I've
us.
been trying to erase out of my memory.
That
Thanks
guy's
for that.
guy's still creeping around somewhere, just pulling
No, he got
ropes.
injured. He
Waiting
got
for his
injured and he's in
next
the
game.
hospital.
Right. Yes.
Oh,
I
this
forgot
is
about
actually his white paper, guys.
that. Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah.
No. I think it's a good point, and I think that is an interesting. I mean, I don't know how. I don't know how.
So give me the case for subnet? I just
I just
gave you
think
the
it
case.
would. I mean, look at DFK chain. It works so smooth. There's no.
I mean,
issues,
one of
and,
the
like,
things that would be cool with the subnet is imagine being able to control the tokenomics of the subnet because it's your transactions. So
Jewel is
being
gas.
able to, if we want to really build out this metaverse, and you've got game developers building on your subnet or your network, you could have some of the gas prices go to the game developers, which would be interesting.
Yeah.
I
And
groan every
arguably,
time I
you
hear
could
You'd have
do
full
metaverse.
that with
control.
the
You'd have full
mainnet
control.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously you have more control.
Yeah.
Yeah, get Jewel's gas token. That would be big. They did
Yes.
mention something about I keep wanting to call it like Kyber. Clayton
Clayton.
having some kind of functionality to use a separate token as gas. We definitely need more information there, so like let's not speculate too deep into it, but if something like that's a possibility, that'd be great. I think that's maybe he just meant by going on a subnet, right?
Yeah. Well,
But
I
hopefully we
think
get more
that's
information there
something.
Monday.
Yeah, and you can already the rapid R. They made a rapid R that's specifically for questions for Clayton, and this whole Serendel move. And I think that's on there. And I think it just in general, how is Jewel and or locked Jewel going to be used in the new Serendale and Serendale 2.0? I mean,
yeah, that's
because we want to know that now, especially because a lot of people have a locked Jewel that's probably sitting there that they're probably stressed about right now. You know.
yeah, no, and that's I think that's a key point. That's the other shoe to drop is how does this affect Lock Jewel? Because two reasons. One, they've kind of mentioned that the tokenomics around the new chain would kind of affect things, and then also we're getting kind of down to the wire here as far as the Lock Jewel conversation goes. I think it's supposed to be like late September, early October.
Almost the exact same time
Clockwise.
that the Ethereum 2.0. It's gonna be the same day.
Yeah.
Probably
yeah,
not, but
they're moving over to proof of stake
Is
early
it
September.
yeah.
is it a certain epoch or what?
Yeah,
Do we know what
it is.
time
It's a certain block, but yeah. Well, we'll ask that question on Twitter. We'll get an answer from somebody
Well,
else.
I mean,
Mr. Zipper probably knows that.
Yeah. The point remains though that the unlock period is rapidly approaching within the next 2 months, and they're going to have this move. I mean, I doubt this move is happening within the next 2 months, but it is going to be interesting, and I hope that they would discuss that. I think they will at some point, and they've been talking about how they're working on Lock Jewel. What they're going to do with it, and maybe coming up with some more unique ways of using that Lock Jewel, but. I think they're going to really have to answer some hard questions in terms of, is the Jewel going to be used on the Clayton network the same way? Is the locked Jewel going to have any functionality on the Clayton network?
Are we getting another coin? Because that was
Yeah.
that goes back a few AMAs now, but it was, especially with a name like Klay, you could see it
Oh yeah, that's great. It's
being
a great
like
game.
something in, you know, like you have your jewel, you have your crystal, you have your clay. Like
Mhm.
I hope that's not the case. If it is the
Yeah,
case, I hope that it's done in a way that they've said
sure.
they're going to take care of jewel holders. But um, I really I want to see what they go with there.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Also, too, this is another question. So, and again, this was on the Rapidar that is sort of more general, not necessarily technical, but the art style, the sort of Serendale vibe, if you will, the
Yeah,
lore. I mean, is it going to be a direct copy of Serendale? Is it going to be Serendale 2.0? It's exactly the same, no changes, or is it going to have a certain, Crystal Vale clearly has a theme, snow, Vikings and stuff like that. Is this new Serendale just going to be a direct copy? Are we going to get any Clayton spin on it? I think that's an interesting, and they'll suss that out. Like that's not as pressing to me right now because the technical stuff is probably more important. But I am interested in what they're going to do there.
yeah, and that was Bless that
Yeah,
made that comment. So shout out to him. Um, yeah, it's. I think it's important that it kind of stays consistent. And they did mention that one of the reasons why they didn't want to go with Polygon, and who
right.
knows how much this was an excuse or the truth, but they said because Polygon should have its own kind of theme and it doesn't really mesh with Serendale. So
Yeah,
interested to
there was
see.
definitely Dreamer let slip a little bit there, where he said he thinks Polygon and Matic has kind of a futuristic, modern kind of
Mhm.
attitude towards it, and that could potentially be another expansion, another realm that is added in the future.
And he also said in the future, like years out.
Well,
So it was
we'll
interesting.
see. I
He
mean,
said the
yes,
word years, and I was like, I think that's just kind of caught up in the moment a little bit there.
yeah,
But it is interesting that for the foreseeable future, I know we're talking about back and forth of the potential of Clay, but for the foreseeable future, it's going to be Crystal and Jewel, which I think is great.
yeah.
Uh, don't need any more inflation in the DFK ecosystem than what we already have.
Well, that was something too that I was thinking about was I doubt they would do this, but will they have another perilous journey to get to
Mm.
the Clayton? Now,
Why not?
I mean, I think it'd be great. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and it would also add that burning that I think is excellent for hero value. But
I think there hasn't been a lot of new players joining the
yeah,
ecosystem,
well,
and
I don't care about that.
an excuse to burn heroes and give kind of reset some kind of reward
I love it.
to current hero holders, as well as decreasing the amount of heroes in population to do kind of a mini reset on population, because I think growth has taken longer than what they anticipated in, and the hero count's gotten higher due to that, and this is a chance to do kind of a mini reset on the hero count.
Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely agree. The one thing about that though that just hit me while you were going through that, a new coin is kind of key for the perilous journey, right? Because the rewards that incentivized us to get to send those heroes, a lot of it was crystal. Like unless you're going to just inflate, you know, the
Inflate the
crystals
shit
that
out
we
of
use.
the crystals and stones. Give me more crystals and
Yeah,
stones.
I'm
I
fine with
mean,
that. If it's
As
like
well
the
as
that destroys the
maybe,
item economy though.
is
I
there
feel
an
like you
item
need
economy
something
right now?
else
does that matter? There's no stones. There's no like liquidity right now for stones.
on the in-game decks. You mean?
Yeah, like why not add more stones and then we can start trading and buying and selling it
As
more,
as well
Actually,
as maybe you dangle land tournaments out there too.
Sure, something like that. Like
Like there's
specific like
other
they did
things
with
like that.
PJ, yeah.
Yeah.
but I'm
I
I'm
think
just
there's
so I'm looking back at how it was when the Crystal Veil Perilous Journey happened, and nobody was impressed with the rewards that they had then, and it included crystal, the coin. So
but I think crystal was such a small percentage of the overall prize pool. And I think looking back at it, a lot of people regretted not sending heroes,
sure,
seeing what the rewards ended up being.
sure. But I'm saying if you don't have that new token, you're just rewarding items. I think there'll be less of a desire for people to risk their heroes that we've now been training up and getting more attached to.
Well, see,
Yeah, I guess
that's a good point, and I agree with
risk.
that. But they should put. I think they should put something in place where, uh, I mean, I don't know how they could do this, and I don't know if it'd be balanced, quote unquote, or not. But like, they should do something where if you put 5 level 1, shit heroes, you're guaranteed to get, a level or a rare.
Well,
Or
this is like
better,
the whole
something
Dark
like
Summon
that.
conversation, right?
Yeah, like exactly.
Yeah,
If they did
Dark
something like
Summoning.
that, I think that it doesn't have to be exactly the same way that they set up Perilous Journey. It could be some other sort of burning mechanism like that, where it's like, you
I'd
can.
rather that be more of a constant in the game, though,
Well, sure, but I'm
than a
just
one-time
saying.
event.
I think well, I understand what you're saying. I understand the complaints, but like, did you just hatch a here?
Yeah. I've done a level up and a hatch on stream, and they're like the 2 worst things I've done in the last 3 weeks.
We're not pivoting to pets right now. I refuse to talk about pets. when all this coming up.
Regardless, I think there are burning mechanisms that could be put into place, and I understand. I would love it for be permanent, but this seems like a golden opportunity to at least do a one-time thing.
I agree. There's definitely the ability for some kind of trigger event at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I think we need to start burning some heroes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, what you mentioned, like 290,000. Are we?
Yeah.
Is that where we're at? Are we gonna start seeing a 3 leading that number
I
soon?
mean, probably pretty soon, right?
I'll tell you in a few.
Oh boy,
Oh,
is this
true.
happening right now? Are
You
you summoning
wanna
right
Yeah,
now?
this is happening.
Um,
We're a big boy stream now. We don't have to like make a deal out of this stuff.
Oh, we are. I didn't. Was that made official?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. No, what was I gonna say though? Our front runner, not mentioned.
No.
We were a big IMX team
Not
here.
even mentioned.
Well,
Which-
the big thing was the EVM, which I don't know if IMAX is,
Oh, of course it's layer 2 on ETH.
and that's all that's required for it to be an EVM.
Well, I mean, it works through. You play Gods Unchained. What are you talking about?
No,
It's
I
all through
understand, but
MetaMask.
but they say it's a ZK roll up, like very specifically.
Right.
That's what
Right.
they promote.
Yeah. It's still EVM.
All right. I guess that's my question. Does ZK roll up doesn't mean not EVM? Like those aren't. Those are different terms.
The roll up is the way it kind of batches the transactions back to the
Okay.
mainnet, but for the user, yeah, it's EVM.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I hope they talk. I hope IMX gets involved with the GFK team at some point, but
I just wish we could know.
Yeah.
Like he kind of
Is
says,
that a knight?
"Oh, what do we got?"
Oof, that's
You
ugly.
can never tell. We're at 296 plays. We're almost at 300.
Oh wow,
296. Damn.
it's gonna be big. Yeah, we need another PJ. No,
Ooh.
but I just want to know who else was in contention, and we'll never find out. I don't think.
No. Yeah.
Like because Dreamer says, like I'm not gonna just
If
list.
you
Like,
throw it
I
on a
do-
rapid R, Dreamer might answer it.
I do
he
think
said
Polygon
today-
was in the running. I do think the way they describe it, like
no, of course that was the one that he said he would discuss because I think it's definitely going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I mean, look at Clayton. Like none of us would have guessed that one. How
No.
many other like nameless blockchains that we've never heard of were they talking to?
Well, I mean, we shouldn't say that because it is a top 100
No, it
point.
is.
Like it's not like a nobody.
never
But
heard
like,
of it.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm sure people in South Korea know about it.
What do we think for timeline?
I don't know. They threw out for the wisdom thing. They threw out something of like we want to get something out in the next couple weeks. Clayton, I don't know. I doubt we'll see anything for a while on the Clayton thing.
I mean, all right. To break it down, right?
Yeah.
So first thing we need is Crystal Veil parity. What else do we need for that? Duels.
Wait, hold on. I just want to. I mean, maybe this is just an exercise in whatever, but why do we need Crystal Veil parity before moving over to?
Because Sarandale will stop operating on. All right, so let me pick apart what I'm going to say. Let me tell you how this works in my mind.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm off base. I'm thinking we need Crystal Veil parity. We get duels. We get what else is needed? Duels, right?
Well, the item bridge. We don't have the item bridge
right.
yet.
Of course. The item bridge, duels, those get set up on Crystal Veil. Then I'm thinking. I think. And this will be a big question on Monday. I think Sarandale kind of stops existing for a while they move everything, right?
Well, that goes back to your question.
I think it's like bridge everything over because
the inventory of the stamp pots. Like we're not gonna be able to make stamp pots at all.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe I'm thinking about it the wrong way, but that's why I was interested in the Swift Thistle, because
Yeah.
if there's no more production of it, if
Yeah,
Harmony isn't,
I think there's not going to be that long of a gap. I just think they're going to stay on Harmony for much longer than we think.
and they build it while being
Yes,
on Harmony.
exactly. I think they're going to keep Harmony going for a long
Yeah.
time.
Because it's not like Harmony needs to be inactive in order for them to.
Oh, what is that's not a
It's a
that's not a sage. Yeah.
It's not a sage though. Uncommon.
Anyway,
But so they can build the Clayton network while Harmony's still in existence. It's not like
That's what I mean. Yeah.
it's not like they need to stop Harmony in order to keep building Clayton.
in my mind, there was going to be, like, it's not a copy paste. There's going to be, and maybe I misinterpreted that, and it's being built in the background. I was expecting at least a 1 month to 2 month gap where we're only on Crystal, though.
I would say a week tops.
Speculation, not
I
Kingdom's
think
advice.
that would be very interesting, but and I think it'd be fun to see the chaos, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think they'll stay on Harmony for a long period of time, and
Okay.
then until Clayton's ready, and then they'll do it.
Hmm.
Because the same way we talked about Wisdom, Clayton is going to be pumped to do this. I mean, I know they have a lot of other games on their network and stuff like that, but like this is a we got a ton of active
they're
users.
blockchain. They're not building anything.
Well, whatever.
It's
You
all
know what I mean? Like their team
prestige
is gonna, they're gonna try and move it as much as they can from their end. You know, I think they're gonna be pumped to get more eyes on the Clayton network in general. So.
Well, and I think there's going to be incentives to DFK to move the chain over. So DFK is going to be money motivated to move over to Clayton.
Yeah, that's also stuff that I hope they talk about on Monday in terms of, what kind of relationship does Kingdom Studios have with Clayton, if any, in terms of coins or tokens or monetarily.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a big thing. Like, what, I guess, just broader, why was Clayton chosen?
Yeah,
that should be a big answer. We looked at the grant fund. I'm hoping that we got a nice chunk out of that.
Yeah.
But for anyone listening, make rapid R posts. Make questions.
Yeah.
Like, if they're duplicates, they'll only ask it once. It's not a big deal. It's like, let's fill that thing up and let's make sure that we're not left on Tuesday going, I wonder how this works or that works. Ask it.
Yeah, I think that's a great question of like which chains didn't make it. They probably won't answer that, but like, why not we just ask it? Who cares?
Right. Exactly.
I think that because it's the new format of the AMAs, they are going through these questions and they are answering them.
How efficient was that AMA today?
Oh my god, especially the first
great.
half of it with the wisdom stuff, they were just like boom, 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 like. So I think we should just go on there and start asking whatever.
And one thing I really like is that they keep it open. It's not like they batch out like 10 questions ahead of time. Like, one of the question I asked about the compensation that I wrote while Bowen was talking, and he's like, "Oh, we got a new one in." So it was great. It was just asked on the spot.
Yeah.
And they have these. I didn't even know they have these statuses, so they can move.
Those are
if they start answering questions.
Yeah, he's used that a little bit.
Tool, but
I haven't seen those used that much, but yes.
Yeah, there are a few. That's, I think, the only tag that he's used has been answered left for reference.
Yeah.
No, Rapid R's been going great though. I was kind of down on it in the beginning, but I've been really happy with how it's being used.
No, and they're reading it, so I think it's pretty positive. All right, general, last thoughts here. I think for me, I'll just start. I'll just do my first. I'm pumped. I think this is positive news. I think Wisdom is amped up to get stuff done, and I think Clayton is going to be a great match here because they want Clayton. People want more games and more stuff to succeed. So I think this is just great news across the board. How do you guys feel? They both. I want the listener to recognize they both pointed at each other.
Franz wants the last word. I'll give him last word.
No.
Quick and dirty from me is, if you can't grow the team yourself because you don't have the bankroll for it, you pick good partners to grow with, and I think these are two very smart partners for the long-term ecosystem of Kingdom Studios and DFK.
Oh, is it my turn now?
It's your turn now. Yeah, okay. You have the mic.
No, yeah, no, I'm excited. There was an energy on Twitter the rest of the day after the AMA. It felt like the good old days. I really, it's a
What was
more
that?
fun community.
January and February?
Yeah, the good old day, like it was like a day and a half. No, it's obviously more fun to be playing this game when we're all enjoying it. So I hope they just keep. I hope that we've weathered the storm at this point,
Mhm.
and now we
Yeah,
could start building and talking about how well they ship, like we used to. That would be great. So hope they do it.
that would be great. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. For Franz and for Guy Kid, this has been Bogside Chats, where we're talking everything DeFi Kingdoms. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.
Hold on, let me get.
Yeah, that went pretty well.
We ran a little at the end.
Shit.
Oh, what were you guys talking about in the beginning? Can we go back? I want to fight you guys on that first argument. I didn't want to on air.